picture you see here is of a 24-year-old man named Kishore Kumar. Originally from India, he came to the UK with hopes of making a better life for himself. But things didn't quite go as planned. Instead, his face is now plastered across UK newspapers, not for any positive achievements, but because he's been sentenced to 2 years in prison by a Crown Court judge. After serving his sentence, he'll be deported back to India. Now, I'm sure you're wondering how things got to this point, so let's dive into the full story. Kishore holds a mechanical engineering degree from India, which he completed in 2023. He came to the UK intending to further his studies, but as many international students know, studying abroad brings its own challenges, particularly around finances. These students, like Kishore, often have limited resources, so they feel the pressure to earn while they study to cover their costs. Kishore chose to focus on work rather than his studies, and over time, he fell out of status and ended up overstaying his visa. This was where his troubles began. During this time, Kishore began frequenting a restaurant near his university. It was there he noticed a young British woman working as a server. According to the police report, he fantasized about being her soulmate, imagining he would do anything for her, even willing to live and die for her. In his mind, he romanticized their relationship, convincing himself he'd sacrifice everything for her, even his own life. Kishore's visits became a daily occurrence. He would sit, order something, and just watch her. In the UK, it's normal for servers to greet customers warmly, to smile and engage politely. It's simply part of customer service. But it seems Kishore misinterpreted her kindness as personal interest. His fascination with her intensified, and before long, the young woman felt uncomfortable with his constant presence. She brought up her concerns with her manager, who politely warned Kishore to respect her space. Although Kishore agreed to stop, he was back the very next day, once again staring at her from across the restaurant. After some time, she directly confronted him, asking what he wanted. Kishore then confessed that he was deeply in love with her, that he'd given up his studies and work just to be with her, and even asked her to marry him. The woman, understandably, was taken aback and told him he was wasting his time, that his feelings were entirely unrequited. Despite her rejection, Kishore didn't stop. For nearly 2 months, he continued to follow her around. When her manager realized just how uncomfortable Kishore's behavior was making her, they transferred her to a different floor, hoping this would help. But Kishore somehow found out about her new location and began standing outside, watching her through the windows. The situation escalated when, one evening as she was closing up, Kishore approached her again. He declared his love once more, but this time she made it absolutely clear that she was married. She even showed him pictures of her husband and family on her phone, hoping he'd finally understand. Yet Kishore was undeterred, and he simply refused to accept it. The young woman went back to her manager, who promptly banned Kishore from entering the restaurant and warned that they would call the police if he returned. However, he ignored this and continued to turn up. The police were finally called, and they warned him that he needed to stay away. Kishore seemed to brush this off, failing to grasp the seriousness of the situation. Things had become so overwhelming for the young woman that she took a month off work to recover. But while she was away, Kishore continued his pursuit, asking her colleagues to pass along chocolates and flowers with messages saying how much he missed her. His fixation had crossed a line into obsession, and even the police suspected he might be trying to secure a relationship with her as a pathway to residency. Eventually, she returned to work, and Kishore was right back at it. This time, the police arrested him and brought him to court. The judge labeled him a dangerous stalker, remarking that his fixation and obsessive behavior made him a threat. They warned that he might harm himself or someone else if his advances were continuously rejected. The court found him unfit to be part of the community, sentencing him to 2 years in prison and deportation afterward. When Kishore stood before the judge, he broke down, begging for mercy and asking to be sent back to India. But the judge reminded him of the serious nature of his actions: stalking, violating visa terms, and overstaying illegally in the UK. His conduct not only harmed this young woman but also cast a shadow over the reputation of international students. Now, his story is making headlines, and the actions of one individual risk adding complications for genuine students who come to the UK with sincere intentions to study. I wanted to share this story as a wake-up call for young people coming abroad for studies. Let it be a reminder that staying focused on your goals is crucial, and the consequences of reckless actions can be severe. Remember why you're here, and let's work on building a positive image for our communities abroad. The line between love and obsession is thin, but the consequences of crossing it are severe. Kishore's downfall is a testament to the destructive power of entitlement. Remember, respect is not a suggestion, it's a requirement. And to those who refuse to accept rejection, I say, your obsession is not love, it's a poison that will consume you.